This video is probably going to be interrupted by some chainsaws and noise in the background because my neighbor is getting their trees trimmed. That's not metaphorical. It is Friday. We have made it to another weekend, y'all. And I wanted to talk about a conversation that happened at work yesterday at the real life job. And I want to see if any of you do what I do and how that works out for you in your relationship. So this video is going to be for those people who are either married or in a committed relationship of sorts and living with that significant other. At work yesterday, we were talking about how I didn't have my truck yesterday because my wife took it to work because when she went out to go to work, she realized, one, we had a cold snap here in Texas. And so the tire pressure dropped, as it always does on vehicles in Texas when it turns cold. So the tire pressure was low, but she was also out of gas. The fuel light was on. And so she took the truck to school so she didn't have to stop and get gas. And the guys were giving me a hard time. They're like, oh, have her put gas in it. And I said, no, I don't do that. I actually, if it comes to anything with the vehicles, I take care of it. That's my job. I put gas in it every weekend when I fill up my truck. I come home, I get her car. I take it and I go fill up her car as well. And if there's tires or oil changes or anything that needs to be done to the vehicle, I take care of that. I'm the man of the house, right? And they were like, oh man, what about all the women's lib, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, you're too nice. You're too nice. And I thought to myself, nice has nothing to do with it. That's my job, right? I mean, I think of it this way. I do, I guess, what you would consider to be the typical man stuff around the house. I take out the garbage. I take care of the vehicles. If there's anything needs to be done around the house as far as like repairs or updates or fixing a leaky sink, which I actually have to do this coming weekend, I take care of those things. And even though I rent the house that we're currently in, I still do those things because I have been a homeowner and I feel like those wear and tear items, it's my job to replace them. Now, maybe in that regard, I'm being nice, but regardless, the point is that if there is man shit to be done, the man does it. And in turn, my wife takes care of what is classically considered to be a feminine role. She cooks far more often than I do. She does laundry all the time. She takes care of the girls. She's constantly first one up in the morning, making sure everybody else is up. Clothes are set out. People have got, I set out the meds, but she helps make sure people take them. And we have our roles, right? And it's not a matter of me being nice doing those things. I mean, I'm sure she appreciates it, and I know she appreciates it actually, because on mornings where it's cold, she doesn't have to stop and fill her car up with gas. So I know she appreciates that. She says so. But I appreciate the things that she does that I don't. You know what I mean? So it's like, it got me to thinking about traditional roles in a marriage or in a relationship, and just traditional roles in general. This wouldn't have even been a conversation or a big deal back when my grandfather and grandmother were alive and they were talking about it at my age, right? When my grandfather was 49 and my grandmother was 47, turning 48. That's just how things were. It wasn't even a conversation. It was, well, of course the man puts gas in the car and mows the yard and trims the trees outside, like what's happening right now, and takes care of the house and things. And the wife, the woman, takes care of running the house. Does that make sense? She takes care of making sure it's clean, that there's dinner on the table, right? There's clean laundry and clothes for the man to go to work, and the children are well cared for. And My wife does things as a mother and a parent, caring for the girls, that I can't do. I'm not. I mean, I can do it, sure, but I would not be as good at it. And it's something that I feel like in society today, we've got such people just wanting to make everything equal, and we're not equal. You know what I mean? There are things that men are just innately better at than women, and there are things that women are innately better at than men. And so assuming those roles in a relationship, I don't see it as a kindness. I see it as a responsibility, as a duty to perform those tasks as my role as the head of the household, the man in the household. I would never say head of household because my wife and I were pretty much even on that keel. So I guess there is some degree of that. But she does also view me as, and has said, you know, as head of the household, those are the type of things that men take care of. How is it in your relationship? I know I'm kind of rambling on about this, but how is it in your marriage or relationship if you live with somebody or you're married? Do you guys take on traditional roles, or do you have more of a relationship that's, you know, we're going to divvy things up evenly, and it doesn't matter if it's putting gas in the car or putting air in the tires or, you know, cleaning leaves out of the gutter or mowing the yard or doing dishes or laundry, putting things away, you know, taking care of a sick child? Do you guys just split it all 50-50? Do you assume the traditional roles? Because I got to admit, in past relationships, it was not the traditional gender roles of a husband and wife. Usually it was more, if you see something needs to be done, do it. And 99% of the time it was me doing stuff. So there was no, it didn't work, obviously, because it's a past relationship. I'm not in it anymore. And to me, it's incredible to me how something so simple as doing what feels natural and right, which is assuming the role that I should have assumed all along, and allowing my wife to assume the role that she should assume all along, that by doing that, our relationship is probably the strongest relationship I've ever been in. It's easy. It makes expectations extremely clear and understood, and there's no animosity because of it. There's no, I used to say to my ex all the time, I'm like, oh, you're all for woman's lib until it comes to changing a tire, and then you're calling me to drive 45 minutes to where you're at to change a tire because it's raining and cold outside, which I did do. But then any other time, I would be in trouble if, you know, I made the assumption that as the man of the house that I should be doing X, Y, and Z, and it would piss her off. It's so much simpler when you assume the roles in the relationship that I believe God intended. And I think that things just work much better that way. I'd really like to know what you think on this subject as we head into a weekend and think about those things in life that we always think about on our early morning coffee talk. So, as always, thanks for being here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the comment section to see, am I the only one who lives like this and thinks this way now, or is it actually becoming more and more common? Anyway, again, thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the comment section.